After the first round of games at the ongoing AFCON, it's almost certain who is going to win the AFCON. And of course, it's not the usual teams that you suspect, national teams that you suspect. When I mean national teams that you suspect, and I mean people like Nigeria, Cameroon, Ivory Coast. Yes, I understand the point that teams get better as the competition go on. But then, after watching the first round of matches in this group stage, you agree with me that the North African teams have been very consistent, played very solid football compared to other parts. I think the only exception is South Africa, who have proven that they belong to the group stage, and their next game against Egypt will actually go a long way to define how far they can go, how far their team will test their team strength and stability. It's really a tough one between South Africa, and it's more like a test between South Africa as a national team and the rest of North Africa. Now, when I mean South Africa, I mean the Bafanas of South Africa. These are the only guys that have played solid football. I think people that have another chance is Senegal, somewhere in the mix. But honestly speaking, the North African teams have been exceptional in this competition. Kudos to the North African teams. They've been very exceptional, disciplined, played solid football. Now, picture the game between the West African teams and their opponents. They've really struggled, Cameroon, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, to grind out a result, which is, compared to their North African opponents, which is a sharp contrast to the last concluded AFCON, where the North African opponents really struggled to really stamp their feet in the competition. And this time, I think it's a reverse of the whole story when compared to the last competition. And if you ask me, I think it's a 90% chance for the North African teams, and then the remaining 10% is between South Africa, Bafana of South Africa, and a certain Senegal team. I really pray, I hope that the other teams that really stamp their feet get better as the competition goes on. But right now, it's tilting more towards the North African teams doing better and better in the competition.